As I've said in the past, I've really never been a big fan of kerosene. But I was reading this man's website, End Times Report, Mile Stairs Run is it? And he's got me reevaluating it. I didn't realize a lot of the world lives off of kerosene. You can cook with kerosene, you can light with kerosene, and you can heat with kerosene. And, you know, not depending on electricity, as a backup, it's kind of a nice position just to have. They're inexpensive, and I'm going to be going through it with you one at a time. You can cook with kerosene, you can bake with kerosene, and you can can with kerosene. So to have these little stoves, there's some real advantage to that. To use a kerosene lantern that's been pressurized, and I'll be showing you that in another video, for lighting is an interesting option so that you have modern lighting without electricity. And if you're in a colder region, to have kerosene as a heater is a nice convenience. So again, if you have kerosene stored, which is also nice, it's not like gas, which goes bad. Kerosene is more of an oil. It can be stored long term, it doesn't explode. Some real advantages. I want to show you for an emergency situation or an off-grid situation why one of these little kerosene stoves would be fantastic. There's no moving parts really. It's a gravity-fed system where you've got a bottle of kerosene over here and it flows down this tube. And these are simply knobs with a screw in it that's a needle valve. And the further out it comes, the more kerosene is going to flow into this wick. This stove can be purchased either with legs or without legs. It can sit on a bench. The burner comes out, and they call this a catalytic converter. And then what you have simply is a wick. Okay? That's all there is to it. Kerosene flows down that tube, soaks up the wick, and you burn the kerosene off the wick. And they say that if you give this enough time and you soak this, and then when it gets really old, flip it over and burn it on this side, that this can last over a decade. Okay? Where we get into trouble is two areas. We don't let it pre-soak long enough. Okay? So you got to give it time to soak. And then to shut it off, you don't blow it out. You extinguish the, you shut off the fuel and let it burn itself out. And that will greatly prolong the life of your wick. While we're at it, let me show you how to fill up the, just as a little spring thing, and it sits right in like that. Very basic, really no moving parts. To cook on this is real simple. Just open up your valves, a couple of twists, give it some time so that both wicks will soak up. Remember, this is a gravity flow system, so it should be level. When I first started this somewhere else, I didn't have a level and my kerosene wasn't going into this burner. I put it on a level surface and it all worked fine. Okay, I just wanted to show you what I meant by a saturated wick. See how that's all wet now? Now it's ready to light it. You can also just lift this up like this. I was doing it for demonstration purposes, and just light it like that. That'll also work for you. And when you first light it, it tends to smoke, but that'll stop. nice little stove to have on the side. As you can see, it's no longer smoking. It only smokes in the very, very beginning. And when you want to adjust the heat, it's just a very small turn of the dial. 1/8 of an inch will do it. And I was showing you how to light it for demonstration purposes with it all open, but you can just lift this up like that, okay, and light the wick that way, and not remove any of this. They're real nice. They're very inexpensive. It's a good thing to have tucked away. And you can have, you know, a couple of 55-gallon drums of this, and you'll have your cooking needs met, you'll have your lighting needs met, and you'll have your heating needs met, all without electricity.